You know?
Most of them were built between about 1880 and 1920.
Okay.
A number of the houses got completely annihilated in the flood of 1913 because the water here in the neighborhood was well above the second story. So,
wow. So like that's
well above the first story, I mean into the second story.
Yeah, so that's pretty amazing that some of these things even stood.
Well, if you look back at my house, my whole house was almost underwater, and it's still standing.
Yeah.
And I've had flood mud coming out. In fact, even just this week, I was doing a project in the house, and I got probably a pound or two of flood mud that fell down out of the attic.
Wow.
So
it's still in the house?
Yeah.
That's wild. How you doing?
Hello, how you doing?
Hi.
Good. You could go on and on down every street and see house after house after house after house after beautiful house.
Lots of really beautiful woodwork and porches. There are a lot of craftsmen. I'm going to go down this block.
You ever thought Dayton should incorporate a city of porches?
Yes.
A city of front porches?
I think that's actually one of the reasons why we're so neighborly here in our neighborhood is because everybody spends a lot of time on the front porch and not on the back deck.
Yeah.
So we all hang out with each other and know each other's dogs and kids. This is a regular occurrence about dog walking hour.
Yeah.
People hanging out in the streets.
Very cool. Brand new baby in the neighborhood. We saw it earlier. They're all showing off.
5 days old.
Beauty. Little bitty baby.
So lots of different paint colors down here, which I think adds a lot of vibrancy to the neighborhood. People are not shy with color.
And people want to live here too. That's another thing. There's not very many properties in the neighborhood. Am I correct?
Right. It's a small neighborhood. There's only 90 structures, and right now there's only 2 for sale. So
are they?
there's kind of like a wait list of people who want to live here.
Yeah. And you can see why. I mean, you do get like the one thing. There's a little bit of highway noise, but it's not really bad.
No, and we just got sound walls.
Yeah.
So that has made a big improvement in both noise and dust.
Yeah.
Highway.
It's nice and quiet down here. Howdy, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. We're taking a little tour of the neighborhood, taking a video tour.
Oh, well, that's nice.
You have a good day.
Okay.
She's lived here a long time.
Now I used to know some folks. How are these things holding up?
Oh.
El Morado.
I think, they've seen better days. It might be fun to walk around the corner and show the front.
It's a great building.
This is my first living headquarters.
Okay, yeah, I've known lots of people who lived here.
I moved here in 1990.
Okay.
And lived for 2 years in El Morado before I decided to move to the Oregon district.
A lot of Dayton musicians have lived here for some reason.
I think we still have a few living in here now.
I got some good stories, but I won't. They're totally inappropriate to tell about El Morado Place.
It's a convenient location, kind of a cool vibe here with the courtyard. People do a lot of hanging out here.
Yeah, you got a lot of creative people.
Yeah.
And like I said, this has always been like at least since I've known, maybe it's actually cleaned up quite a bit.
Yeah,
it was desolate last time I was here. None of this was here.
Some residents have taken a really mad interest in gardening down here.
Okay.
So the landscaping looks real nice.
Looks like you're like a Spanish villa somewhere, and you know.
I think we built it's sort of a Spanish Renaissance period of architecture in the late 1920s. And legacy has it that there was a second one that faced it that was torn down when they built I-75.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true or not.
There's several small apartments in here, balcony apartments.
They're all efficiencies. They don't really even have bedrooms.
Okay.
So they're very tiny.
I know a lot of students live here.
Yeah.
People go to Sinclair. It's close to downtown.
Right.
And there's some places for rent right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
This is probably one of the more dependable locations to actually find a place to live. Yeah. I think I saw somebody picking up this. Lots of dogs here too. They take pets, which is nice.
Maybe. It depends.
They have like doggy social hour out here a lot of times.
Oh, really? Oh, you're so cute. You are so cute.
We have been joking around, and last year so that we're gonna rename it Dogtown instead of McPherson Town. So I'd say, I don't know, what do you think? At least 60% of the neighborhood has a dog, at least one dog. It's kind of an interesting thing that,
Now, I have a question about the landlockedness. Do you guys like being landlocked?
yes. It's great.
What do you mean landlocked?
Well, I mean, there's this big wall here.
Okay.
You got the highway on one side, and you've got the river on one side. It's kind of landlocked.
Keeps it from
compared to
pass-through traffic.
Yeah.
So it's very quiet. People don't come into the neighborhood unless they have a reason to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So it lowers our crime rate and just lowers the number of undesirables that could potentially be wandering into the neighborhood.
I like it.
Yeah.
Keeps it not pass through the street anymore to get to Main Street.
Yeah.
And it's been that way since Rehab Rama in 1993. So they did this first, and then they did Five Oaks.
Okay.
And I think it works really well here because we only have entrance on and off of Riverview that way.
We have very
and it
definite
stops all
boundaries.
these people who were short-cutting through the neighborhood to get someplace else. They didn't really care if they were in McPherson Town or not. It was just a venue to get, or a way to get through the neighborhood to get somewhere else. And it keeps our streets a lot quieter. And we have a lot of kids here. We don't want a lot of heavy traffic.
Yeah.
I think for our neighborhood, it's a little more organic. We had to put up 2 barriers of our own to keep it so closed in. In the other neighborhood, it's more work, but it was really kind of fit in with the natural boundaries of the highway and the river already. And another thing that it does, it's really great. It makes the community so small that people know each other and we socialize together. We're much more community
You think this is more of a small town than a neighborhood?
Yeah, I think the town in the name is quite fitting.
Yeah.
McPherson Town.
We really are like a town. Everybody knows everybody. So
But you don't have.
Anybody who wants to be known is,
Yeah.
you go out, you're going to be known.
Yeah. Can you be a recluse in McPherson Town
we
too?
have a few of those.
Okay,
I
good.
think we have a few of those.
Yeah.
Not sure.
They're so reclusive.
We still know their names and their dogs' names, but
No, there are a few people that
yeah.
aren't into it really.
Right.
That's great too.
Sure. Yeah, I vacillate between being extremely reclusive and very social, but never like mixed it to the all kinds.
It does take a long time to walk your dog on some days.
It does.
Or to do yard chores.
Just
Because
know
people
everybody,
stop by all the time,
Yeah.
and then your one little task turns into a
People
3.
get talky.
Someone comes by with a beer and hands it to you. You get
It's terrible.
distracted.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's that
Yeah.
awful.
So what? Do you guys used to have Russ's Market out here?
Yep.
What's the? Do you know what the deal is? I mean, obviously it's for lease. Has it been anybody like offered to?
I have heard a couple different rumors. One is that it's surrounded by car dealerships, so I think that White Allen would be interested in maybe taking over that space for additional parking.
There's people trying to start a food co-op
There
downtown.
has been talk about a food co-op, although I think that the food co-op organizers would really prefer to have that in the heart of downtown and not
Really?
in the historic district. So I think we're a backup plan, maybe, in case all the other locations are looking at falling through. And of course, we, being proactive as we are, we have an NDC, it's a neighborhood development corporation, and they actually hired an outside agency to do some master plans for us of what we'd like to see that space turn into. And so we have a vision as a neighborhood of what we would like that whole stretch to be.
What would you guys like that stretch to be?
Well, it's a combination of mixed use things. Some retail.
There's
some-
definitely room for business there. It's a North Main corridor, so to make those businesses, at first, it's make them viable. I mean, we love having White Allen there. They've been really stabilizing for us in the neighborhood. They're a good neighbor. Likewise, I think everybody would be happy to see something that's close to our community. Not that I know several of us have bought cars from White Allen, but you don't do that every day. Like going
Sure.
to a coffee
So you're
shop
looking for
or
something
going
that-
to a deli or a food co-op. Those kinds of things, we're hungry for those.
I think I was up in Toronto over Christmas, and I was amazed at some of the grocery stores in small spaces that just, I mean, every single inch of the place was packed with
Well, even the
fresh
building behind
this
us
place-
was likely a grocery store
Yeah.
when it was originally built. So some small market like that would be awesome.
Do you think people would react to that? I mean, could that be brought back?
That's
Oh,
kind of something.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if it were catered to us, like we have markets that are around us that I try and support, but they don't necessarily cater towards what this neighborhood is looking for. We're looking for like fresh produce and quality.
dry goods and high quality breads and things like that.
Yeah, if we had a little store like that around here, yeah, people would be all over it. And
Yeah, I think a lot of people from all over would be all over it.
Yeah.
And we regularly go to the farmers market, Second Street Market
Right.
downtown, and we can bike there from the neighborhood. So what we're really looking for is something that supplements what you can get there.
Right.
So canned goods, fresh produce that you maybe can't
Ben
get
and
there.
Jerry's ice cream.
Maybe even some of the ice cream that you can bring home.
Since we have the wine gallery already.
And the market does have limited hours, so there are times when you need to go to a grocery store outside of your market.
Yeah, I think that the number one priority almost for this, I mean, for the downtown area has got to be a grocery store. I mean, nobody is going to move in.
I'm at every city planning meeting. That's like the first thing that comes up is people are like, well, we want a grocery store downtown. We don't have a grocery store downtown. And I think that the powers that be know that that's what we want. And I've heard rumors in the works about other grocery stores coming into downtown. So people know. Hopefully they're working on it.
Okay. Well, let's go walk down this street.
Another interesting fact about McPherson Town is that I mentioned our NDC, which is really an active part of our neighborhood structure, in addition to the Historical Society, which Laurie's actually the president of.
Okay.
And that's more of our social and networking organization, where the NDC is more of the business arm. And the NDC, back when it was formed, took a look at some of the vacant lots that were here in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And decided to build infill houses that looked like old houses and sell those for a profit so we could do other projects. And this house right here and the house on the other side of the park are both those infill houses. Putting a park into this corner, this had been an area where several houses had burnt down or fallen down through the years, and we ended up kind of reconfiguring this land and turning this into a park on the corner. So,
Good planning.
yes.
When people say that Dayton is dying or Dayton's dead and nobody cares about the city, I feel like these people don't know the people that I know. I'm surrounded by movers and shakers. People in this neighborhood have a plan and a vision, and they care, and they put work in on a daily basis into making not only this neighborhood a better place, but the community at large. And that means the city of Dayton. People are dedicated here.
Well, that's a good example. The one we just walked by, the couple that rehabbed that bought that house, I think, for about $2,000 when they first rehabbed that, and that was back in 1993.
Yeah.
And after that, they were a young couple, no kids at the time they did that, and they filled that house up plus some. So they ended up having to move, but they moved to another house in the neighborhood. And they stay. Village Chances.
Do you think that the American psychological disposition for new, as driven by advertising, marketing, everyone wants something brand new, even if it's like something totally fake and made of plastic and will break?
Zirconia.
I think of that when I think of Las Vegas, and the first time I went there, and the fake Paris and the fake Egypt and the fake, all these like fake places. Instead of going to the real Paris, people go to the casino Paris. And I think that's just kind of a trend we're all comfortable with.
But I don't think you'll find anything closer to Paris in Centerville than you will in McPherson Town. So that's where I'm going to end this walk around the neighborhood, and I thank you.